So today's session is on non-excessiveness. This is the other side of the virtue of moderation. Okay, so let's get started. So let's do an invocation. Let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate. Let us invoke the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Let's do the soul affirmation together. The purpose of the soul affirmation is to make us aware that we are a body. Sorry, we are a soul that has a body. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's invoke I am that I am. I am not the body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thoughts. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. I am one with my higher soul. I am that I am. I am one with the divine spark within me. I am a child of God. I am connected with God. I am one with God, and I am one with all. So today our topic is moderation and non-excessiveness. And let's do super brain yoga. Super brain yoga is an exercise to help us balance our chakras, our upper chakras and our lower chakras. So let's drop our arms center first, connect the tongue to the palate, and as we inhale, we're going to do a semi squat. Semi squat is basically we keep your feet shoulder wide width apart and just go down, as if you're sitting on a big ball and then up. Okay? So let's start. Inhale, go down, one. Inhale, go down, two. Inhale, go down, three. Inhale, go down, four. Inhale, go down, five. Inhale, go down, six. And the last one. So in his book, Objectivity, Master Choa says that intelligence, love, and willpower should be balancedly developed. As you grow, what you consider as moderate or non-moderate will change. So one of the beauties, of course, of Master Choa's teachings is that he helps us to balance everything, right? So he says, regulate your mind. Do not worry excessively about the future. If you have done everything that has to be done, the future will take care of itself. So, what do you think? Does that work? Or do we tend to spend our time thinking about, do we spend our time thinking about what to do, what we haven't done, what needs to be done, or do we actually spend time, doing it? So that's what I think he's trying to say is that if you have done everything that you need to do, don't worry about the future. Now I know that's easier said than done, but in terms of non-excessiveness, excessiveness with worry and anxiety, I think is something that we all probably might need to think about. Are we worrying excessively about the future, about our life, about our children, about our spouse, about the planet? And are we doing things? So of course, when we do the twin hearts meditation, what we are doing is we are doing service. We are actually taking action about it. So instead of worrying, we are trying to convert all of that into blessings, right? And the way we bless is, of course, we raise our hands in blessing position. We are aware of the crown, the heart, and we bless Mother Earth. So in this last virtue, I would also like to talk about the balancing of all the other virtues. Again, Master Choa Kok Sui says, mastery of the virtues is the mastery of balance. In life, everything must be balanced. So, food, okay, clothing, shelter. So I know people who uh, have a certain budget for clothing. It's like they don't just go out to the market and buy whatever they want to. They have an annual budget in mind based on whatever their income is. And if you're a homemaker and if you're getting, homemaking allowances, then again, you just decide what that amount is. and you choose a percentage which we are going to spend on clothing. And of course, we have to also make a budget for food and for travel and for, extra things and miscellaneous things and all kinds of things, right? So having a budget is a really, really convenient way, I would say, of moderation, because what happens is that if we make a budget and we actually stick with the budget, that really helps. So one tip that I want to share with everyone here is that one way to moderate your budget, because not everybody writes down all the expenses, right? So one of the ways is that when you get your salary or your money or whatever it is, and if it's in the form of cash, then you can basically divide it into envelopes. Okay, just have envelopes for food, clothing, and miscellaneous, etc., etc. So what will happen is that, let's say, for example, we are about to overspend on, let's say, clothing, and we see that that particular envelope doesn't have that much money in it. That's how we know that we have used up our budget for clothing. Similarly for food, right? I mean, once in a while, everybody likes to indulge. So if your restaurant expenses are going out of bounds, then you need to be like, okay, today my restaurant budget is over. So I'm not going to go out, and maybe I'll, order in something simple, or I'll cook something or something like that. So again, moderation in that manner. So there's moderation when it comes to food, clothing, miscellaneous, transport, etc., movies, entertainment. We have our own desires of what we want to spend on. Now, the other way of moderation is to moderate the virtues. So, once we do Aratic yoga and we go to Aratic retreats where we hear masters' videos, in some of the videos, from what I understood, is he says that you also need to moderate with loving kindness, right? Because if we are very, very kind, then people can also take advantage of us. That is another thing to keep in mind. We don't want people taking advantage of us. So it's one thing to be loving and kind, but it's not okay to be taken advantage of. Okay. Similarly, if we have to balance something like honesty, so we can be honest, but we don't need to be harsh. We don't need to be ruthless. We don't need to be malicious, right? And then the other one that comes to mind is constancy of aim and effort. So in constancy of aim and effort, it's like, if you're working and overworking, and Must also says here, he says, do not overwork, keep your body healthy. Because, if you just work and work and work and the body is not functioning, then even when we have a certain amount of money that we think we wanted, we might not have the health to enjoy it, right? So everything in moderation, like even enjoyment. If you want to take a vacation, if you're planning for it, yeah, maybe if we don't want to take a vacation every year, maybe we can take a vacation every 3 years or 4 years or whatever our budget allows. But let's do it while our body is in the state that it is. Okay, there's no point getting a lot of money and then not having the health required to enjoy that money. Okay, then we have generosity. So even in generosity, sometimes I've had people telling me, okay, I'm going to, donate 50% of my income. That's too much, because we are probably then denying what we need to spend on our family, probably denying ourselves certain basic things that we require. So, 50% of your money going into tithing, you can try it, but it's not recommended. So again, excessiveness is there for everything. And when it comes to balancing all the virtues, there's no one specific rule. The beauty again with pranic healing and with master's teachings is that we basically learn, sorry, once we basically learn scanning, we can actually scan the level of all the virtues that are there in us. We can also scan the balance of light, love, and power in us. And with the tool of scanning, we can understand, whether we are out of balance with something. So, it's always a possibility to go to somebody and get a scanning, but the best I feel is to do the scanning oneself. Okay, because then we're not dependent on anyone. And one of the tools that I use in scanning, which is just something that I wanted to share, is that for things like this where we may have a certain bias, what I do is, like, I'll just take a piece of paper, like a blank piece of paper, and I'll just write on that and then scan that. This is obviously applicable for people who have done basic pranic healing. So what we do is then we are scanning without really seeing, so you write it on a piece of paper, you fold the paper, so you don't really know what's written on it, and you have, a few of those sheets, and then you basically scan one by one, like one, two, three, four, five. You just scan all the pieces of paper, and then you check the one which has the maximum energy. Okay, so in that respect, we want to also talk about yeah, we already talked about saving, which is 20 to 30% of what we earn. And he says, without savings, you cannot accumulate wealth. So I hope this was useful. We have talked about three things. One is, of course, budgeting, which is deciding how much amount of money we're going to spend on certain items. The second thing is moderation with respect to food, clothing, shelter, vacation, the number of beers we consume if we're still drinking, and a whole lot of other things. Yeah, and also wanted to add that in the school of pranic healing and arhatic yoga, um, Master Choa never ever really says do not drink alcohol. He basically says you need to drink in moderation. So one of the beauties I find with the school is that it's quite practical. Doesn't mean we encourage people to drink. It just means that social drinking is okay. If you're once in a while drinking, it's okay. If recreation is okay, we don't want to go out of touch with reality, as Priya mentioned a little while ago. And of course, too much meditation is also excessiveness, just FYI. So, doing meditation too much and not doing the work that we're supposed to do in our daily lives, regardless of whether we are homemakers or whether it's the office, excessiveness is required in spirituality as well. Okay. So keep that in mind. Just meditating all day, and I think somewhere in one of his books, Master Choa Kok Sui basically says, if you have big chakras and you meditate a lot, so what? What are you doing with it? So in our case, of course, we are doing service, and we would encourage you to also do service. If you're not a healer, there are many other ways of doing service. You can bring people to the sessions, you can organize feeding camps, you can organize, donating blankets. There's so many other ways to do things. So it's just a matter of us deciding what works for us and doing that. Okay, and everything in balance. So remember the beam balance, like one side and two sides. So both sides of life need to be balanced. That's spirituality and materiality, both need to be balanced. Okay, so what we'll do today is we will continue with the meditation. Again, those of us joining on YouTube, you will need to log into our live session at 4 o'clock India Standard Time. You can send a message to the number below in the box. And for the rest of us, let's get started. We will do healing today. We will try to balance the light, love, and power in everyone's system to the extent possible for us as channels. All healing comes from the Supreme God and from the teachers. Okay, so let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate. Inhale and exhale. Take a deep breath and exhale. Be aware of the body, the emotions, the thoughts. Let's think of the balance that we want to achieve in our life. Let's be aware of our crown, our heart, and our hands. And today, let's just think, what do we want this year? Let's bless things without categorizing them, just for a change, because sometimes the blessings become very mechanical. So let's just think of what is it that we want to bless. Just like, look into your heart, and if you want a vacation, just be like, I want a vacation. If you want good health, just bless good health of everyone on the planet. Again, we're still going to use the law of karma, which is that we're going to bless everyone else's wishes so that our wishes also come true. Okay. So I just wanted to do it in a little unstructured way today. So I thought so let's just like look into our heart, look into our desires. What is it that we really want? Do we want peace, happiness? Those could also be targets. So let's just think of that. Let's keep our hands raised in blessing position. Be aware of the crown, the heart, and the hands. And let's just bless whatever we desire. Good things, of course, stuff that doesn't hurt anyone. Let's bless. Let's be aware of the crown. Feel the crown becoming large, the heart. Feel the energy flowing out from our hands. We are receiving energy from the Supreme God and the Great Ones through the channel of our Guru, all spiritual gurus, and we are going to share it with the earth for whatever desires we have. Let's also bless ourselves with all the virtues: loving kindness and non injury, generosity and non stealing, honesty and non lying, accurate perception, correct expression, constancy of aim and effort, non laziness, moderation, and non excessiveness. And of course, our targets. Let's bless our homes. Let's use the excess energy and bless our homes, our workplace. Let's bless all the people associated with our home and our workplace. May they all be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine guidance. Okay, we have a couple of workshops coming up, basic and advanced, and we also have psychotherapy, crystal, pranic psychic self-defense, and achieving oneness with the higher soul, all coming up in Jan and Feb. So do look out for our schedule, and let's bless the schedule also. So let's spread pranic healing for those of us who have benefited from the healings, from the meditations. Let's be grateful and let's bless the teacher's work. May it spread rapidly and properly to the right people. Okay, let's massage our face, scalp, neck, elbows, arms, shoulders, chest, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, the hips, thighs, and all the way down to the shin bone and the calves. So thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you had a good meditation and the healing was good. When we balance all our chakras, as we teach in basic pranic healing, when all the chakras are balanced, automatically the virtues begin to come into balance. And as we heal more and as we do more healing and we move on to the higher practices of arhatic yoga, basically we reach another level. So it's like, we have chakras of certain sizes, and when we do pranic healing, we basically get all our chakras to be the same size and to be in balance, right? Then, as we do Arhatic Yoga, the size of the chakras increases. Now, that increases and the chakras become more powerful. So, basically, what that means is that it's not necessary that all the chakras will grow at the same pace or at the same speed, right? So then we again will do healing, or we can do other practices to again help balance all the chakras. So it's a iterative process. It's like a process of growth. When we grow, at least when we grow up, let's say from being a baby to a 6-year old, it's not just that your shirt that changes, your shirt changes and the bottom changes too, right? So it's like the whole thing changes together, but it may change in different proportions. So the balance of light, love, and power is something that will continue for a while, because while we're all alive, we will all do things and change things, and different karma will materialize, and so the balancing continues. Something that will just continue. The only one that's perfect is the Supreme God. So if we reach that level of perfection, then by then we'll probably be one with the divine spark and beyond that. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Yeah, we are expecting one pranic healing, rather two workshops that will be online. One is called the self pranic healing, and the second one is achieving oneness with the higher soul. So as we have more information, we'll share that with you, and we'll also share information about the classes coming up. Okay, or you can always text our number in the box below, and you know, someone will answer. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.